Hey guys, what's up? I'm Addie. I'm on TikTok as DJ Hungry Human, and this is the Plant Shop Show. Welcome to all of the new subscribers, and of course, thank you to all of the OGs. If you like this content and you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Like this video, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of the show, let me know if there's anything that I missed that you want me to cover next week. If you're on Instagram, this is my Instagram handle. I cover a lot of stuff throughout the week on my Instagram stories that I don't necessarily get to on the long form show. So if you're on Instagram and you want to give me a follow over there, that's where you'll find me. As far as today's episode goes, I want to talk Ariana Grande. Her team released a statement blaming us for noticing all of her problems and announcing that she's going to take a break, although I question how long that break is really going to be because she is addicted to attention. I don't think she'll be gone for long, so we'll get into that. We'll briefly talk about Perez Hilton and what went on with him and how that kind of all ties together. I want to talk about Jason Lee and AP Rocky's interview. This is just the latest installment on this publicity tour that seemingly will never end, where AP Rocky and Rihanna are just trying to promote this relationship, because nothing's more convincing than you constantly reminding me how in love you are and how perfect you are for each other. I want to talk about Gracie Abrams because I've been promising you guys that I'll discuss Gracie Abrams, but she's quite boring, so she keeps getting bounced. But I saw that somebody was like, I've been waiting for you to talk about Gracie Abrams. So it's a good week to talk about her because she's got some drama going on with Phoebe Bridgers, so we will talk about that. Very briefly, we'll discuss Joel Madden and Hilary Duff and their unnecessary reunion on stage. Why would you want to remind us about your weird relationship? And speaking of weird relationships, my good friend Gigi Hadid and my other very good friend Bradley Cooper showed up with rings on their finger. Now, if you'll remember from last week, this is the opposite of what happened with Kristen Stewart, where she showed up desperate to show us she wasn't wearing a ring, so we'll circle back on her as well. Let's get into it. Without further ado, let's talk Ariana Grande. Last week we talked about Ariana Grande and her extremely creepy music video, which, by the way, isn't a good music video and it's not a good song. And the album in general is not good. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to listen to it. I always listen to make sure. I actually want these people to produce good art. And it's really annoying when the art's not good and then they're also a pain in the ass. So that's what we're seeing with Ariana Grande. So the update this week was that her team released a statement announcing that once her tour wraps up, this terror tour where she's deeply disturbing everybody except her weirdo fans, once the tour wraps up, she will finally give us a break. She says take a break, but it's like, no, you really need to give us a break because it's been a lot, okay? It's been a lot over the last 3 years. Has it been 3 years since the beginning of the Wicked press run? Because that's when she really started to become a problem. She's mad at the public for noticing that, number one, she seems to have a personality problem. She did include that in the music video. I'm sorry, but you give us all whiplash. You come out with a different personality every 3 months at this point. You used to kind of commit to 6 months a year, but now it's every 3 months you're siphoning somebody's personality. You're showing up completely emaciated. But again, it's our fault for noticing. I want to read you parts of this statement, and then I'm going to tell you about her follow-up speech where she doubles down on this idea that she's just having a great time. And I do believe that she's having a great time, but we'll talk about it. They say Ariana will be taking a step back from visibility after she completes the Eternal Sunshine tour. Again, it's we know everyone's disturbed, but we're going to keep this thing going. She looks forward to finishing the tour and ending it on a high note, both healthily and happily, and then taking a much-deserved break from public-facing work and appearances, which has led to endless ongoing public scrutiny. This tour has been a beautiful experience for her. She loves her fans and has loved every minute of this tour so much. They like the fans that ignore everything that they're seeing. Okay, they want to encourage the fans that will never criticize her and then try to disparage everybody else as just we're just scrutinizing her for no reason. She performs a very physical show and there's a lot of athleticism involved. She performs healthily and successfully at a very high level night after night. Okay. This album is a fight song and anthem about the love-hate relationship with the public and their toxicity. This album is not about a romantic partner or breakup in that way. First of all, I've said she's very embarrassed about SpongeBob. Other people are saying that part of this performance that she's putting on now, this like, I'm angry and, you know, I'm mad at all the critics and I'm mad at, you know, the people that I have to audition for. They are saying that it's because she lost the Audrey Hepburn biopic. And I agree with that too. I think that it's a twofold thing. She finally got into a relationship with somebody that the public completely rejected. You know, I think that there's been criticism about the way that she's gotten into other relationships, you know, bouncing around, stealing people's husbands, you know, stealing people's boyfriends, the whole 9 yards. But this was the first time that people just completely rejected the relationship. And obviously part of it is that the guy's a sponge, okay? It's hard when somebody's that much less attractive than the celebrity, right? It's kind of like the Benny Blanco, Selena Gomez thing. So that's part of the reason she's mad. And then the other reason is because she finally got told no. This woman's never been told no. She's been a child star. I'm sure she went through a lot of crazy stuff with Nickelodeon, but she's been a grown adult for a long time now. But she's still, the way that she presents herself, the way that she talks sometimes, like she does want to infantilize herself and like always be a victim. So it's, now she's the victim of the public. I think that the public's the victim of her at this point, okay? It's just like I think the public was a victim of TikTok and Perez Hilton, but we will get into that. What they're presenting they are presenting things that are completely inappropriate and then blaming us for finding them inappropriate. So anywho, she wanted to come up on stage and let us know that she pre-planned this. Okay, so I'm getting conflicting stories here. Her team is trying to say she's essentially getting bullied out of the limelight. She just can't take the scrutiny. But then she comes on and says, no, I'm having the time of my life, terrorizing all of you. She says, the announcement that was made yesterday was not a reactive or impulsive thing. It was something that I had decided to plan quietly a long time ago because she's quiet like a mouse. She later told fans that it was not the negativity that was ruining things for me, okay? She doesn't care that everybody is worried that she's just gonna die on stage or die in front of us, which is what the concern is, right? It's like, how can you, I don't know how people can be a fan of this woman and not care that she's completely withering away and you can see every tendon in her body. No matter what the noise exists out there, nothing will be able to distort my reality or be more real to me or not as real to me as this love that we share. Again, she's like, she wants to encourage the people that are ignoring this, that are just going to be her fans no matter what. She calls the tour one of the most healing, beautiful, correct, and special experiences of her life. That felt good. I wish that words were enough to articulate how much I love you. Okay, creep. Also, the album is about a romantic partner. She just doesn't want to admit that because she thinks that people will assume it's about SpongeBob. She talks about Dalton Gomez's new girlfriend and how she's dressed like her. Okay, and there's other things where she's like, you know, talking about her private parts and, you know, her usual shtick. I can't stand when like, why are you trying to gaslight me? Just own it. Okay, just own it. I don't understand why now they're like, oh, the public's bullying me, but I'm not going to stop it. I'm having a good time. It's like, pick a lane, pick a strategy, pick a personality. Okay, I'm sorry that the public notices that you just keep switching it up on us. Okay, I want to play 2 videos for you. All right, one where she is calling herself an 11-year-old and a mouse, and then I'm going to play for you her last personality, and again, question why we're the problem, and then I'm going to show you how I think she's taking on SpongeBob's personality, which is, it's so scary, and that's why I don't know that there'll be a bounce back from this. Every other time that there's been like controversy with her, she's been able to bounce back from it, but we have dealt with such an off-putting new personality for so long, and then this relationship with the sponge, and now her blaming the public. All of this is very off-putting. By the way, part of the reason that they wouldn't choose her for an Audrey Hepburn biopic is because she's going to cause so much drama, and they don't want the press run to be about drama. They want somebody like Lily Collins who's just going to come in, do her job, and not have all of this drama around her all the time. Anyways, this is Ariana Grande cosplaying a mouse.
This is my preferred stage. I look 11, but also like every mouse. Every mouse. I want them to know this me more. I like this one the best, you know?
You're excited.
Accept me. Actually, it doesn't matter if you do. I do. Love, your favorite neighborhood mouse.
That's like a hostage video, but we're the hostages. That's how it feels to deal with Ariana Grande at this point. It's like, can you go on that break that you promised? Like, what is that? What personality is that now? I'm not sure. And we're supposed to look at that and then compare it to this and then not notice that there's this very stark difference.
This has a plan.
Always.
But sometimes it's a really gnarly plan. But nonetheless, it still has a plan.
And now I just saw this new video. Again, I'm like questioning. I'm like, I thought that this tour was over. The North American part of the tour is over, because I'm like, why am I still seeing this? Why is her team not stopping some of these videos? Because the videos are weird and cringe, like that, the mouse video, very, very weird and off-putting. Why am I in this hostage situation? And then there's this video where it's like, okay, so now she is the sponge.
Swish and flick.
The grim. Yes, I see. In the cup you have the grim, the plumping lip gloss grim.
Potter.
Double.
That video went on for a minute and a half of her doing that. And again, I don't know how her team looks at that and they're like, yeah, this is going to be received well. I know that there's a subset of her fans that are going to like her no matter what she does, but you also do have to appeal to like a broader audience, and like that's not it. I'm sorry. It seems like you are now absorbing the sponge's personality, which out of all the personalities you've stolen, this could be the worst. And I know people will be like, she's a theater kid. That's the new personality she's presenting since Wicked, but before she was Blackiana, before she was Victoria Monet, okay? So anyways, I'm just saying, I'm not falling for any of this. Okay, briefly, let's get into Perez Hilton, because obviously there was similar visuals, right, with what we were seeing with Ariana Grande and Perez Hilton. It's the same thing. Okay, what Ariana Grande is doing is just a better funded, longer tour where she's disappearing herself in front of us. Okay, and then she's like introducing like these violent elements in that music video. So it's very aggressive what she's presenting to us. It's just as aggressive to me as what Perez Hilton did. It's just being presented in a different way. Okay, so Perez Hilton comes on TikTok. He's looks like Ariana Grande in that music video. I don't know what I can say on here. So, but you know what he was doing in the video. TikTok leaves it up for 30 to 40 minutes. This is all to desensitize us, 100%. And that's my biggest issue with what Ariana Grande is doing. It's like you're doing it, you're slow dripping it, where Perez Hilton just put it all out in front of us, but it's all doing the same thing. It's the same as them broadcasting what happened to Charlie Kirk. I do believe that they do want to desensitize us, and that's why it's kind of important to be like, no, this is wrong. And I think that, you know, it's whoever runs this stuff. You know what I mean? There are larger plans at play here. It's very, very obvious. The way that they weaponize empathy and the way that they do it online, and a lot of it is through bots. You know, I do believe in the dead internet theory. A lot of these people don't even exist. And so if you read comment sections, you can kind of tell like who the bots are, and then the bot-like people, the people who like agree with bots. They have tried to bully people into not speaking out against things that are clearly bad for society. And we see this all across the board, right? But that is what we're seeing with Ariana Grande. I think because Perez Hilton is very unlikable, it's different. It's different in a few different ways, but the broader implications are similar to me. Okay, like we are all watching somebody disappear. Okay, I also think that some of the discourse around Perez Hilton, people reveling in that, is just as bad, because you have to be consistent. Okay, like compassion, to be a compassionate person, you have to, there has to be a baseline. And so for me, it's like my baseline is that I don't want to see anybody like self-destructing in that manner, regardless of whether they're a bad person or not. I don't want to revel in that. I also don't want to see it. I think that like we've gotten so comfortable with presenting everything online, and it's like, no, actually some stuff should remain private. Like Ariana Grande, step back and take care of your problems. Perez Hilton, oh my God, get off the internet. I don't think anybody's interested. I think that this like relevance seeking, this fame seeking, like he's never got it out of his system. If we had used the likable, unlikable matrix, if we just adopted this as a society to figure out who should be famous and who should not be famous, obviously Perez Hilton, we would never know who he is, right? He would all fall into the unlikable category. So that's why we have to be careful about the type of people that we promote. Now we're stuck with him. That seemed to me like it was a psychotic break. And so I can't judge him by the same standards that I could a completely sane person. But in general, it's like we have to reject this stuff that is being presented to us. And I do think that it's being presented to us for a reason, and that's why you have to be a real stickler about it, because like you can't get caught slipping. Okay, it's kind of like true crime stuff to me. You know, there's a line with true crime too where it's just it's an energy harvest, if you will. Anywho, all right, let's switch gears. Jason Lee really wants us to know that him and Rihanna are best friends, okay? I also think that Rihanna needs to watch out. I think he's sexually attracted to AP Rocky. Both of them got together to pretend to talk about Rihanna, who I think set it up. Rihanna was like, I want you guys to have an interview where you just gush over me. And you also address every single little thing that the internet has had to say about us. And this is where it all falls apart for me. And this is why I've been like tracking this story, and I've talked about this. You know, every week there's something new with them. This is not A-lister behavior. Rihanna, whether you like her or not, is an A-lister, okay? They elevated her to A-list status a long time ago. I always talk about, especially when she was getting styled by Mel. That's when she was at her peak back then, right? I truly think that the fall off started when she broke ties with Mel. But anyways, she gets with AP Rocky, and it's like all mystery goes out the window. They are trying to subtweet every single thing that's said about them online. AP Rocky is a C-lister, so this is C-list behavior, which is why she wouldn't do this herself. She like sent him to do it. But what she doesn't realize is that AP Rocky is in love with himself first. And so when you're operating from that spot, like it's kind of like how Benny Blanco talks about Selena Gomez. It's like you don't understand the levels to this, and you think that you're bigger than the program. And Rihanna supports this, which does sort of make him bigger than the program. Do you see the problem here? It's like, this is why you can't gas up sassy men. You're never going to get a sassy man to talk about you in a way that would satisfy the public, right? Nobody wants to hear AP Rocky come out and talk about like how amazing he is and how much he loves you because of what you do for him. And that's what we're seeing with him, because that is the truth. In my opinion, that is the truth of the relationship from everything that I've been presented. Jason Lee says people are obsessed with the relationship. No. People talk about the relationship because you guys every single week come out with like a new backgrid photo shoot, a new weird interview, a new paparazzi video. You never leave us alone. So it's like, we're not obsessed with the relationship. It's just that you keep presenting things to talk about in regards to the relationship. it does seem like Rihanna is very insecure about whatever the dynamics in this relationship are, because I just don't think that you operate like this unless you're trying to prove something. And why are you, if you're so secure, you wouldn't be trying to prove something, okay? They talk about everything. They talk about the Met Gala fight. They discuss the Saudi prince, Hassan, which is so embarrassing. Like, Hassan is probably like so regretful that he ever dated her. They talk about Drake. The most important thing to me that they talked about was the thong allegations. So ASAP Rocky brings up the thong and denies that he was in a thong. And he goes as far as to accuse people of photoshopping him into a thong. ASAP Rocky lives in a delusional world where like anybody cares about him. Had he not got with Rihanna, we wouldn't be talking about ASAP Rocky. They tried to talk about like some things that only had to do with him, but like nobody cares. And by the way, don't listen to the interview because he's so long-winded. He's so inarticulate. Jason Lee is just like gassing him up because I think, like I said, he's sexually attracted to him. They talk about the ASAP mob. That's his like rap group. And they all had ASAP in the name, like, you know, ASAP Ferg. And he's like sad that ASAP Ferg dropped the ASAP. And it's just like, how corny to have like a boy group. Like, you guys are just grown men and you just have like a boy rapper group. Like, okay. So they do try to talk a little bit about him, but they talk about like how Rihanna is the one that like ran after him. But I'm going to play you a few clips and then we will discuss. First of all, the thong. The thong was a video. The thong looks like a thong. I saw people saying that it was a mic strap when this first came up, and I don't understand why you wouldn't double down on that. Instead, you're going to say that they photoshopped multiple angles and videos of you. No one cares that much. No one cares that much. You should have just said that it was a mic strap, okay? It's like when you lie, I don't understand why some of these people are so bad at lying. It's like, come up with an alternate theory. You don't even have to come up with it. Just read a few comments. You know, the 15 fans that you have, they were defending you in a way that sort of made sense. I would have maybe believed that, but to tell me that you were photoshopping it. Okay, this happened with Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez when Benny Blanco came out unprompted and was like, Selena Gomez was the one that asked me out on a date and I didn't even know it was a date. Okay, this is the same vibe, all right? Because they're trying to get around to like, Jason Lee is like, we need to know everything about your relationship. Everybody is just so obsessed with you. So this is him talking about them, you know, first getting together, first linking up.
Next thing I know, like, maybe almost like 9 months later, I'm in the studio at Quad and I get a call like, yo, Rihanna wants you to do a remix to this song called Cockiness, and she wants you to perform it tomorrow at the MTV Awards.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. So I'm like, word? I bet. I recorded it. It took me probably like 45 minutes, sent it over to her. They said she was fucking with it heavy. Well, she actually came to my Coachella before that, so she knew she was my boo. She was digging it, but...
So basically, she was lining all this up.
She lined it up. See, you reading between the fucking lines.
And don't...
Everybody try to make it seem like it's me.
No, because as I'm listening...
See what I'm saying? She was fake stalking me, but we ain't gonna call it what it is. Now I'm fucking with you, right?
I'm sorry, that is so embarrassing. He discusses, I can't play you the clip because it's so long and so long-winded, but he discusses the first time that he met Rihanna. And I just want to list for you the names that he drops before he gets to actually meeting Rihanna. And throughout this entire interview, when describing Rihanna, he never actually like describes her as a person or like what he likes about her. It's all about him. So this was a story about how he couldn't get into a club. And then eventually when she came out of the club, she told them to like let him in while he was like flipping out on the bouncers. But the amount of names that he drops before he even gets to Rihanna, because again, he's very long-winded and very obsessed with himself. He talks Virgil, Matthew Williams, who's the creator of Givenchy, Kanye's cousin Ricky, ASAP Mob, Pusha T, Kanye, Meek Mill, Wale, and Maybach Music Group. he asked you about meeting Rihanna. Why he really fancies himself. Okay, and he really wants to name drop. He really wants to prove that he was like a big deal before Rihanna. It's like, bro, this interview was set up by Rihanna. You were supposed to like make her look better, not worse. Like I said, anytime that he discusses Rihanna, it always goes back to like what she does about him, what she does for him, which is, we've seen this pattern before. I feel like this happens all of the time. Also, the way that he talks about her. Jay-Z also came out this week and called Beyonce his bitch or a bitch. He calls her a broad. He calls her a bitch. He calls her my woman. I want to play for you this clip just so you can get an idea of the general sense of this entire interview.
One thing I could say about my woman that people don't know, she a real ass, bro. She not one of these Hollywood motherfuckers, like, you know, newbies or whatever the case is. No shade to nobody. She really is a strong black woman, and she held me down even when I was at my lowest.
How do you go from being a nympho to being locked in with one person, building a family, out the streets?
It wasn't really no other broad that could match me, that I felt like. This don't got nothing to do with her accolades or her money. The truth of the matter is, when my dad died, she was there for me. When I got locked up in Sweden, she was there for me. When the really happened, she was there for me. Every time I'm at my lowest and darkest place, rather if we just friends platonically or if we in a couple relationship, she always there for me, bro. Genuinely.
There's really no other broad that can match me. Oh, wow, so romantic. I love her energy. I love how she is with my kids. She's so funny. We have so much fun together. And they do get into some of that, but again, it all revolves around ASAP Rocky. Jason Lee tells this story about how like they ran into each other at like 4 a.m. at a Walgreens, which literally sounds like a story that they were like, oh, well, let's tell that story. Because it just makes us seem like so cool and casual and whatever. They meet up at a Walgreens at 4 a.m. and ASAP Rocky and Rihanna are like beating each other up with toys. And then he says, I almost liked him for 1 second because he says, oh, we were in there shopping for toys. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cute that they were like thinking about their kids and they like went in to buy toys. No, it's because he's a collector. He collects toys, and so does Rihanna. She's a collector too. It's like, whatever you think is like happening with this interview, you're not selling me on any of this. And I want to play for you, to wrap this up, I want to play for you an interview where ASAP Rocky was being very honest about how he views himself and how he views women and how he views relationships with women.
I feel like girls should take me shopping, you know what I'm saying? And that's not even me trying to sound cool and cocky. I really do believe that. And I know that a lot of you
believe
guys,
that girls should just take you shopping?
Yes.
Why?
Because I'm handsome. Like I'm a bad bitch in that term. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is that what you go with? Is that what you tell them? Do they know this, or you just expect it?
They gotta know if they fucking with me. It's like one of them situations where it's like, I don't want nothing from you if you don't want nothing from me besides like good company, great sex, and you know, inspiration. You know, if I can't get inspired by you, you don't have great conversation, we ain't got nothing to talk.
He's a bad bitch, you guys. I do want to point out that Rihanna also posted, I'm sure you guys saw it on Instagram. I don't want to show it to you. I don't want to look at it again, but there were these videos of them at a club and she's like grinding on him. Like, not grinding, she's twerking on him. Grinding's old school. She's twerking on him, and he seems not that into it. And then she posted on her Instagram stories that video with, there's a guy in the background that's kind of giving him the side eye, and she's like, my ex. And it's like, what? It's weird that you guys are so focused on talking about her exes. It's weird that Hassan came up. It's weird that Drake came up. Jason Lee's like, you stole his girl. And it's just, everybody's too old to be talking like this. Like, you have 3 kids. He does say that they suppose that they're like, he says they're like black hippies that they go around in a camper and they park behind Walmart, and he does tie-dye shirts for them to wear and hangs them up in the back of their camper in the back of a Walmart parking lot. I swear to God. It was hard for me to clip different like portions of this interview for you because he's so long-winded. It's really bad. Anywho, let's get to Gracie Abrams finally. Okay, the reason that Gracie Abrams is kind of worth talking about after all of this time is because she's in a beef with, or like this alleged beef with Phoebe Bridgers, who, she was a fangirl of Phoebe Bridgers, okay? And Phoebe Bridgers used to date Paul Mescal. And then Phoebe Bridgers and Paul Mescal ended their engagement. I think they were engaged. She now says that in a song that she ended the engagement, people didn't know. And now Gracie Abrams is dating Paul Mescal. Okay, so again, she was a fangirl of Phoebe Bridgers. It goes back, you know, she's talked about it. She still talks about her. And they were friendly, clearly. And then Gracie Abrams started dating Paul Mescal. And now, I guess that's why people like didn't like Gracie Abrams, besides that they think that she's a lackluster talent. And I could agree with that. I think that she's had some okay songs, but it all reminds me of that, like, you know, that train back to Boston, on a train back to Boston. It all reminds me of that. You know, it's like, it does seem a little one note. And then of course people dislike her because she's a nepo baby. And now people are noticing that she copied Phoebe Bridgers. I guess they've noticed this before. She copied Phoebe Bridgers, her bed and her rocket sheets, which I do find to be really weird. And so now Phoebe Bridgers is finally talking about it. She says she can pretend to be me since she took my place in bed on that stage. I have not lost any sleep. It's kind of embarrassing. It is embarrassing if you're Gracie Abrams, because like the pictures don't really lie. It does seem like you are trying to be her a little bit. You are dating her ex. You were a fan of hers, and now you have the same bed sheets as her, and then you're also like recreating her bed on stage. The Phoebe Bridgers video, or the clip, this screenshot is from a video that she did during COVID where she was like lying in bed singing, you know? So I do find it to be a little strange, especially because they interacted about these sheets. And I guess like Phoebe Bridgers had showed these sheets a lot. Why? It's like that, you know, it's like hipsters try really hard to be like cool and different. So these are like hipster bed sheets to me. And these people all seem to be hipsters. It's not good when you are a rich girl hipster though, because like the whole point of being a hipster is that you're kind of like grungy and like you don't care. And I feel like Gracie Abrams is cosplaying as a hipster. And that's when you kind of, you know, get into trouble. Like Phoebe Bridgers does seem like an actual hipster. And Paul Mescal has like that hipster vibe to him too. And now it seems like Gracie Abrams is like, I need to be a hipster. And she does really try to sound like a lot more important than she is. And it's really, really funny to watch in interviews. And she did this really funny interview where the interviewer is just like so completely disinterested in her. So I'll play that for you now.
There's a undercurrent of darkness throughout many of these songs, and my nickname that I was given throughout the process of making this album was Basement Lady.
Basement Lady?
Yes, which comes from, which was almost going to be the title of the album. And then I was like, oh. Because if you isolate all the vocal tracks and all the songs, there's often like a very low register vocal that also felt like that matched the character where I was coming from writing a lot of these songs. And Cold Goodbyes is like a true Basement Lady track to me.
Oh my God. That woman was so irritated by the entire interview. She did ask her about like the nepotism thing. Like she always gets asked about the nepotism thing. And you know, she has a good answer for it because it's like, what can you really say? And I assume that must be very frustrating when you were just known as a nepo baby. Both of her parents are in the industry, obviously. And she does the whole like, I'm so grateful and I'm so privileged and all of that stuff. And it's like, how many nepo babies do we have to deal with? How many nepo babies must we deal with? I will say, at least she does seem to like want to be a good singer-songwriter. Like she does seem to work at it, where a lot of these people, a lot of these nepo babies, it's like you literally have no discernible talent. She did go on Jimmy Fallon and try to show off one of her hidden talents, which again, I think it all plays into this, like, you're trying really hard to seem interesting. And I think when you're a nepo baby or a rich kid, it's like you're inherently not that interesting because you've never really had many struggles. And so you never really have much to draw from. So then you kind of try to overcompensate, and that's when it feels like really inauthentic. So I'm gonna play this for you, and then we were gonna discuss somebody that I think did this exact segment right.
This requires no skill from me, really. It's just a fun pastime. Basically, I look at you, and I never look at my page,
Oh, no.
and I never lift the pen.
Right,
I
so
don't
you're
even, so at this point, I have no idea what I've done.
Now, do you know where you are in my face right now?
I'm getting to your neck. And you're in a tie. How
Yes,
lovely.
I'm in a tie. I love wearing a tie.
Yes.
Where did you learn this trick of yours?
I finished touring, and I was like, I need to, okay, here we are.
All right, we've reached this point. Here is
I'm gonna
me.
write your name, though,
Thank you.
Jimmy.
This is me, drawn, contoured, drawn.
Blind
Blind,
contour.
contour, drawn.
Do you want like Jimmy F?
Yeah. I really do. So I'll
Jimmy
remember.
F down here.
Yeah, Jimmy F.
And I'll sign it.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna frame this in my office. Here it is, Me by Gracie Abrams. Let me see.
Imagine the amount of people on this planet, in this country, that are extremely talented and interesting that we could be spending time on, and instead we're spending time on this. I mean, some people who watches the Jimmy Fallon show, I do not know. I feel like it's all for clips like this that we can then make fun of, which I'm grateful for. But it just makes me think, like, there are so many people on this earth that are interesting and talented and smart and funny, and they might be a singer, but they might have like another special talent. That is not a talent. Okay, and that really does indicate that you don't really belong here. But again, she's a nepo baby, so she's going to be forced on us. It's just like the approved famous people. There's a new formula for being famous that, like, really, it's really dull and boring, and that's why there's so much backlash when it comes to like Hollywood at this point. That clip made me think of this clip of Amanda Seyfried doing that same exact segment on Jimmy Fallon, which is just like basically like show us a hidden talent, which they could do for any interview. It's kind of like, what do you have that's interesting to talk about, and then we'll go back and forth on it. Amanda Seyfried played this instrument called the dulcimer, and it's almost like a guitar. It's like a string instrument that sits on your lap. You should look up the clip. I can't play it for you because it will get copyrighted. She played Joni Mitchell. She played it and sung it, Joni Mitchell's California, and it was really good. And so Amanda Seyfried is a good example of a well-rounded celebrity, right? Like, she's kind of more of an old school celebrity where she's conventionally good looking, she's good in interviews, she goes away. I think she's a talented actress. And then she has these other interesting talents, like she's a singer, and she's somebody that doesn't look all plastic surgery. Now, she might be annoying. I think she is annoying. I think she said various annoying things that I can't even recall because she's not top of mind, which I also like about her. But she's kind of like old school in that sense, where we don't see that much anymore. Now we just see these people that want to be in our faces all of the time. They're kind of like a one-trick pony, and then we're kind of scraping the barrel when it comes to trying to find one thing that might be interesting about them. Anywho, what I really wanted to talk about with Gracie Abrams from the beginning is like what's with her bizarro style. This woman has a male stylist. I'm sorry, but many women that have male stylists like dress terribly. There's obviously exceptions to that. There's a lot of great male stylists, but like Alex Earle has a male stylist that I think does a really bad job. When I saw the way that she was dressed, I was like, I think she has a male stylist, and she does. And again, what it feels like to me is that she's like, I'm trying to be interesting, and I'm trying not to look like a rich girl. Okay, we need to lean into the rich girl thing, actually. I don't want to see a rich girl that comes out and cosplays as a not rich girl. This looks like I don't even know if I'd wear this around my house. Why This looks like something that I would throw on when I was like deathly ill and needed to go to CVS and could only like reach the things that were like in my vicinity. Why are you presenting this to us? Look at this. This was the main reason that I wanted to talk about Gracie Abrams. This is like an old interview she did where, by the way, she also talked about being a nepo baby. I'm sick of that conversation too. But anyways, why is she dressed like this in this crazy polyester outfit from like the 80s? This looks like a secretary from the 80s that bought her first pair of like office pants. Look at those shoes. It's all bad, okay? That's the point. Maybe it's not all bad. Maybe she has like one good song. But again, it's like she gets talked about a lot for somebody that's not very interesting. All right, perfect segue. Let's talk about Hillary Duff, one of the least interesting people that we've ever known. And like, I don't have a problem with Hillary Duff necessarily, but this whole like comeback, it's like, you don't have any charisma. You don't have any real stage presence. Like, I like that she's pretty. I do like that she's pretty. And I just feel like we could have left all this in the past. The weirdest thing was, first of all, it's weird that this tour is still going on. Every time a new video pops up, I'm like, oh my God, it's a sad state of affairs. This is how bad millennials like miss the past, is that they'll go to like a Hillary Duff concert and sit through that. Anyways, she brought Joel Madden up on stage, and if you'll remember, they dated. This is when, did I load it? Oh my God, I don't think I loaded it. This is when she had those huge veneers. Remember that? That was a crazy time. It was when she was going through her like shrinking stage. I'll say that. It was when she was going through a shrinking stage, and then she paired it with the biggest veneers anybody's ever seen. So it's like, that was a bad combination. She was 16, he was 25, which honestly, like, that used to happen a lot back in the day. Of course, you remember Lindsay Lohan and Wilmer Valderrama, who then dated Demi Lovato, which she's spoken out about that, how creepy that was. So it's like, yes, this happened. I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten about it. So why do you want us to talk about this again? This kind of ties back to the ASAP Rocky thing too. It's like the things that they really want to present to us are puzzling, because I'm like, why do you want to remind us that you were wearing a thong? Why do you want to remind us that Joel Madden was like mad creepy and dated you when you had huge veneers at 16? Okay. Also, she had her kids up on stage to eat pizza. Listen, everybody knows about the pizza stuff now, right? How can you be a celebrity in 2026 and not know about the pizza discourse? So I do find it really weird that she would bring those kids up on stage to eat pizza. Also, her husband reminds me of like ASAP Rocky and Benny Blanco, where he's always kind of insinuating that she's the lucky one. It's not a good dynamic, you guys. Especially when the woman is the more attractive one or the more successful one. I don't know. I do think ASAP Rocky is more attractive than Rihanna if you didn't know anything about him. If you didn't know anything about him, I actually do think that he has become the more attractive one, and that's partially because she's allowed that to happen. But in general, it's like you see this dynamic with a lot of guys that are like not on the same level of attractiveness as their partners. Anyways, okay. Backgrid photo shoot of the week. This made me laugh because Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper's love story is backgrid photo shoots. That is their love story. There was a million different versions for them to pull. There's a million photo shoots for them to pull from. This was like a carousel. And the reason that they posted this, of course, is because Gigi and Bradley showed up with rings. Okay, this is when they showed up with rings. I wanted to point out that because Bradley is an OG, okay, Bradley is a pro at this. he has a more believable prop to show us this ring, which is the point of this photo shoot, than Kristen Stewart did last week when she was gripping a gas pipe. Okay? It's like, this is how you know the difference between these people. You know what? Bradley is a professional. He's been doing this for a lot longer than Kristen Stewart. And of course, we know that Bradley Cooper is a much better actor than Kristen Stewart. So it all makes sense, doesn't it? Anywho, do I think that they're married? Possible. Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were married for 10 years. Do you remember those pictures of her the day that she signed the divorce papers were legendary? But yeah, they were in a marriage for 10 years. So, you know, Gigi has good representatives, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, they really wanted us to see this ring situation. People magazine knew which rings they were, the whole thing. And just to show you that this is, I know that you guys know, but like this is a whole strategy that they do. Tom and Zendaya backgrid photo shoot showing off their rings. They're private. I do wonder what you guys think about Zendaya and Tom and if they're a real relationship. Zendaya and Tom show you how secretive people can actually be. That's why it's like when we see people a lot, it's because they want us to see them a lot. People are always saying, oh, give her privacy. Okay, like Ariana Grande, you don't think that she had the Paps come and meet her and Ricky to take, you know, photos of them so that she could try to distract with this fake relationship? I don't think she's really with Ricky. So it's like, yeah, all of this it's always planned out. So you always have to consider like what's the narrative that they want to push and why. So I do wonder about Zendaya and Tom because we know nothing about them. So that is one strategy. Like think about the Jonas Brothers come to mind, like Priyanka and Nick Jonas. It's like, I do question some of these people. Anywho, let's go back to Kristen Stewart for a second. I told you last week that Kristen Stewart really wanted us to notice clearly that she wasn't wearing a ring, even though her and her wife, who were married in January, were about to promote their new movie together. And so I questioned, is this so that we talk about it? I love Kristen Stewart because she really, really tries to act like she's above it all, but then she has a backgrid photo shoot every single week, and it always happens to be when she's promoting something. Isn't that interesting? Anyways, she did show up with her wife to the premiere of the movie. I should have pulled the video. I think I posted it on my Instagram story where like her and her wife are coming in and there's like, you know, people waiting for an autograph and she's like, I'll come out and sign shit later. I gotta do this shit right now. And it's like, you should be thanking your lucky stars that anybody showed up to see you, Kristen Stewart. She's real high on her own supply. I want to play you this red carpet interview that she did. And like last week, obviously, we talked about like the progression of this and how it's gotten so much worse. And it's like it does keep getting worse somehow.
Come on in. Hi. Hi. There we are. There you are. There you are. Okay. You know, that was, yep, she just went viral. I didn't even have to say anything.
What do I have to say? Nothing.
Nothing. Directing again next. What's the next project?
Well, I'm not greenlit, but I've got like some stuff under every sleeve that I've ever worn in my life.
Tell me, just tease. Come on.
Tease?
Yeah, manifest it.
I think I might become a domestic terrorist after I make my next movie.
After you make your next
well,
movie.
I just might be categorized as such, but I love you guys.
This is a grown woman, okay? She's in her 30s. She is in a professional setting and she's supposed to be promoting a movie. And imagine having to be her co-star. It's like, well, what is this that you're presenting? It's comes off very immature, and it's like, oh yeah, we're all waiting on bated breath for your new movie that no one will go see. Who is propelling this forward? Who is a Kristen Stewart fan? Like truly, I find it very hard to believe that the actors and actresses she works with and that she then promotes movies with like this behavior, because it's just, again, it's very immature. It's very like attention seeking. Like you seem to really want to prove that you're so like cool and different. And it just like, you know, Rihanna having ASAP Rocky go out once a week and profess his love to her. It's like the more you try to sell that, the less I believe it. Like people who are just like naturally like cool and different, they don't constantly need to tell you how cool and different they are. Because, you know, now I'm on a Kristen Stewart algorithm. Instagram is so interesting. The algorithm of TikTok and Instagram is so different because it's like, you know, if you watch one video on Instagram, it will show you like for the rest of your life, it's going to show you videos that, you know, are about that same topic. So if you happen to look up Kristen Stewart in a week, it's like going to show you like all of these different videos. And last week when I was picking the videos, there's so many to choose from because she's so inarticulate and it's word salad and it's so hard to watch and listen to every single time. So I just saw this clip that's new to me. I think that I might have like seen that she went on the Howard Stern show back when she went on Stern. But this popped up. And I found it to be so glaringly hypocritical that I needed to show it to you and I needed to talk to you about it.
I'm so happy that I did this because I grew up with you and this is such a trip.
Well, like, thank you. I'm a big fan.
I was a curious kid. I was the youngest in my family and like there's shit lying around and you consume it. You know what I mean? Like my parents were never super like sheltering. Also, I read chunks of, definitely saw private parts when I was like really little. And it was like formative. I genuinely was like, I remember like the image of like you on the cover. I just fully remember being like, what is that? Like I saw the movie on TV, but I remember reading parts of the book too. And it was like, I really enjoyed it. Thought it was like, I was extremely curious and
so
like,
fucked up.
It's so fucked up. Yeah, I know. And I was like way too young, but at the same time, like I turned out fine. But it was super developmental is what I'm saying. Seriously, like it was a thing. You know,
listen, don't blame me if you're seeing a psychiatrist.
Imagine glazing Howard Stern in the year 2026 when all you talk about is how misogynistic everything is and how we're all so controlled by the patriarchy. That is Kristen Stewart's whole shtick, okay? So to fangirl over Howard Stern is unbelievable. I remember my mom listened to Howard Stern every single day. I used to watch his show on E, like when I was literally a kid. He treated women like, I mean, saying that he treated them like objects is so, like, it's just the most shallow like way I can say it. Like it goes so much deeper than that. And that went on for decades, really. I mean, he was the most misogynistic person probably in history, honestly. Like, think about some of the, like, the stuff that he used to ask women, the stuff that, like, the contests that he used to have. I mean, I could go on for days about that. I could make a whole hour-long YouTube video about, like, all of the crazy stuff that Howard Stern used to do. Now he's like a liberal. He's basically like admitted that that was all like an act and that was all fake and that was all for like fame and attention. And now he's like now he's like some sort of beacon of morality, which is unbelievable. But that shows you like how shallow Hollywood is and like how shallow their belief systems are. Because you are gonna come on and blow smoke up Howard Stern's ass and act like he's like, you know, oh my God, that was such formative years for me. Like, are you kidding me, Kristen Stewart? Let's just look at one short clip of how he treated Anna Nicole.
I don't think you're aware that you're a heavyset woman. That's what I said.
I know I'm a big woman, so what?
So I was guessing your weight. And I was going to say to you today, can you please get on the scale and then we'll have an over-under. That's all.
No.
Why not? Why not?
I'm not going to get on the scale if you got to weigh me.
If you get on the scale, I'm serious.
Why would you want me to get on the scale?
I'll tell you why.
So you could humiliate me.
No, that's not humiliating. I think you should be proud of what you weigh.
I don't think any woman really wants to get on the scale and broadcast it to...
Why are women, when Anna Nicole is so liberated, why is Anna Nicole embarrassed to say how much she weighs?
Because I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to hear is pop jokes from you.
What?
All I hear is more...
He had a Butterface competition where the women showed up with a bag over their head. And then they would take the bag off, and then they would make fun of their face. This is who Kristen Stewart is fangirling over. I want to play you. This is like one of the most ridiculous Kristen Stewart videos that I can think of. And I want you to think about what she just said to Howard Stern, what we know about Howard Stern, and then think about it in the context of this video.
Being a woman is a really violent experience. We are walking secrets. Shh. We want to see you, we don't want to hear you. Don't tell us how you feel, makes us uncomfortable. We're like harboring a lot of violence all of the time. Even in the imagery that we consume, it's like, even if you haven't bounced off of somebody who has violated you in a specific way, we are incredibly violated constantly. Having a female body is an overtly political act if you can get out of bed in the morning and not hate yourself. It is, it's hard.
Imagine, like, these people, they just live in their own world where they are like the smartest, most interesting person that ever lived. Everything they said is so profound. You beat this over our head, and then you go on to Howard Stern, and you're like, wow, watching you abuse women was so formative for me, and I'm so happy to be here. That's why you can't take any of these people seriously. I have a real problem with modern day feminism, because I find it to be so outrageously hypocritical, and they are always trying to convince women that we are so oppressed. I think that is part of what's oppressing women at this point, is to be told day in and day out that you are not respected, that people only care about your body, that people don't care about what you have to say. You know, that they're the ones that try to say that, like, being a stay-at-home mom is, like, you know, the worst thing that anybody could ever do. It's like, I believe that women should be able to do whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say, and, you know, they can live with the consequences of that in their own life. I think this idea that there are these, you know, and it is true to a degree, but there's all of these different systems that are constantly holding us down. This is who's telling you that. Okay, it's people who also will look Howard Stern in the face and be like, you're amazing. You know, they just want to listen to themselves talk. And they want to say things that make them seem profound, that really, like, aren't happening in most people's everyday lives. All right, so it's kind of like the man-hating content on TikTok. I think I've talked about this before. It's like, are you really decentering men if all you do is talk about men? Like, men suck, some women suck. I feel like now with the divide that we're seeing is like cool people who can see past like the manipulation that's being presented to us, and then people who are still really stuck on the manipulation and still believe the manipulation. Like, I find it to be much less of like a man versus woman, white versus black. You know, any of these ways they try to pit us against each other, I really feel that it's more like, it's the people that can see through this and the people that cannot. And I do hope for the people that cannot, that they eventually come to the right side of things. And I think that for some it will happen, and then for others it's just going to be like, yeah, they listen to Kristen Stewart and they think that she's a feminist icon, even though she can't, you know, formulate one sentence that seems to make sense. Okay, anywho, that's the show for today. Again, if you haven't already and you like this content, please consider subscribing. Drop me a comment. Let me know if there's anything you want me to cover next week. And what else? Yeah, catch me on TikTok. I post throughout the week. Catch me on Instagram, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.